morning, everyone. My name is Truong and Tuan. With this name, I lost my first flight. I flew here as the next flight because of this name. On my ticket, the name is Truong Tuan, and so it's different from my name on passport. So I have to delay my flight. That's why today my talk is changed to today. The original schedule is yesterday. Okay, I'm a from school member. I'm mentor first because today I would like to talk something about the Ambassador Mentors program and some idea to improve it. So first, I am a mentor. I'm a farm school member for 2 terms, and currently I'm Federal Ambassador Membership Administrator. So today I would like to talk about something. First, what is the Mentors program? And one of you here are ambassadors. And none of you? 3 of you. And none of you here are mentor in ambassador and as a group mentor.
In other group or?
Maybe in ambassador and as a group. Both. Your mentor? Yeah, I see. Okay, so my talk is focused on some change about the Ambassador Mentors program and the new change and some ideas to improve more. Mentor process, a recent change, nomination new mentors, draft of change, and mentor ally draft. What is the mentor program? You know, the federal mentor program allows new federal contributors to work together with seasoned developers, authors, translators, testers, and other experienced contributors. The program for the whole project. You have mentor. We have mentor for all sub team like documentation, developers, design. I think everywhere, every sub teams. But the Ambassador Mentors is a special group. We also be here for helping new ambassador and ambassador candidates to join into ambassador group and do actual job for federal project. You can see some more information about ambassador join ambassador join choose a mentor. This page you can see some more about the Ambassador Mentors program with the full list of current ambassador mentors. So the mentor process recently changed something. We based on some reasons, with the new change, we can say workload between federal ambassador membership administrator and other mentors to avoid a single point of failure. Also, mentor, you know, mentor is the person who take the candidate from the beginning to become ambassador and then have them for the whole life. So, mentor should be rewarded with more recognition and responsibility. So that's one of other reasons we try to make this recent change. And we want to make mentor in ambassador groups, something like sponsor and mentors in other group, more consistent. As the changes are, we in the past, mentors candidates have to open the ticket themselves to start the ambassador applying process. Now we change that job to mentor because mentor is more experienced, so they can do that efficiently. When mentor open a ticket, they will take their candidates, try to share information, check the information, and then at the end, mentors approve that candidate to be a new ambassador. Then mentor have rights to sponsor that new candidate to be ambassador. In the past, it's a job of federal ambassador membership administrator, but now mentors can do that. That's a big change because when I start my job as a federal ambassador membership administrator, I have to do a lot of work. When mentor finish everything and they come up with the candidates, the whole job to sponsor that candidate to be ambassador is responsible to me. But now mentors can share that workload and do that more efficient. You can also see the ambassador candidate ticket management. It's a wiki page to guide mentor to how to use truck and other tools to from beginning to the end to take their candidates become a mentor, an ambassador. Mentors are special, is a special group in ambassador, just about 20 people. So we want to have more mentors, and nowadays the current process is too simple and there are not many people join to be a new mentor. So yesterday you can see in theory talk about we try to change the nomination new mentor process. That is new process we try to change, and today it's just in discussion. It's just draft, and I would like to show something and want to have some idea more about this new process in draft. When a mentor want to nominate someone else to be a new mentor, he or she can file a ticket into pharma truck. Then he can send a mail to the pharma mentors mailing list to get that vote. If the candidates have 3 over 3 positive votes with no negative votes over a week review period, they can be approved to be a new mentor. That's the new process. Then after that, farm school will confirm the new approved mentor. I think farm school has no reasons to reject or not confirm that approved new mentor. We simply want to check other information and ask to update on wiki or something. That's the new process. The old process is too simple, but almost we maybe recent 2 or 3 years we do not have new mentor. I think so. Maybe 1, 2 or 3, very few. But I hope this new process will have more chances for ambassador, experienced ambassador, to become a new mentor to help their friends and other in community. And I would like to talk about another draft. Recently, we have no guidelines for mentors. Mentor strategies are different between mentors and regions. It's good, I think so. But I think we should have still should have some guidelines, just basic guidelines to for mentor to have more information, more they can do similar for their ambassadors between the regions. Just guidelines, not strict rule or something. That's just in draft only. And I would like to thank Roland Hopper to actively contribute to that idea. Yeah. I have a live version, interactive version on that address on FPAT, private part. And if some of you would like to contribute to that live version, you can make change to that page, privatepart.ca/p/mentor guidelines. Yeah. Okay. And a draft on wiki you can contribute to. So I would like to start talking about that draft. In that new guideline, I would like to try to have some common things mentors should do, candidates should do to have a more effective process to become ambassador. mentor should provide and explain all necessary information to candidates. That's the first thing I think mentor should do. Mentor should check if candidate read through all supplied information and understand them all. We will have a list of which information candidates should read, and mentor check against that list to see if candidate understands them. And of course, the mentor should support candidates to do their new job whenever they want and ask for. Some idea more is from Tuan is mentor should limit acceptable candidates, because nowadays a lot of ambassador candidate requests to a few mentors. Some mentors have to have many ambassadors. So I think they should limit the acceptable candidates by their time, their resource. Maybe mentors can fix amount of time for their mentees, for their candidates. That's just idea, but I think this might be good, because nowadays I see some mentors, they do not say out their available time, but when candidates ask them, they cannot respond because they are too busy with their day job and other candidates. Yeah. And one more thing, mentor can do some IRC lessons for their candidate. Which lesson I will say is the next slide. And as the opposite, candidates should do something all about the mentor asked for, but this is guidelines for mentors and also for their candidates. Candidates should provide link to mentor about their earlier activities. Maybe some candidates who apply to ambassadors group, but they can be in other group like design or developers or some other group, so they can supply the previous activities in federal projects and also in other open source projects. This can be good. Candidate need to create personal wiki page is required in ambassador process, because ambassador is the representative of the project, so they should have a good wiki page to introduce themselves. And candidates should feel free to ask their mentors any dummy questions. That's I think mentors should say to candidates at the beginning. And candidates should attend at least one regional IRC meeting or in the time they are still a candidate. After that, when they are sponsors to be an ambassador, they should join every IRC meeting regional. And we should encourage, mentors should encourage candidates to organize any activity or events just small when it's the time they just a candidate, because to help them how to do something when they become to be a real ambassador. That's something for candidate. And as the previous slide I mentioned to some lesson, mentors should share with their candidates. Some idea here, you can see, maybe mentors should have a lesson for as introductions, like experience, knowledge, infrastructure, connection, communications. The lesson 1 is about Fedora for foundations, free and open source software basics, Fedora targets, community build-up, communications, personal space, and something. That's a very basic lesson. Lesson 2, the mentor can talk to their candidates about Fedora project leadership and infrastructure marketing, especially something special like relationship, because they need to be to know how to use Fedora logo guidelines or something. Some other lessons are lesson 3. The mentor can share with their candidates about contribution, ticket, truck ticket work, inventory swap, or something for their candidates to know. Lesson 4 about events handling, cooperation with Red Hat members. If there is a local office of Red Hat in that city for organizing better event. And the last lesson mentors can share to their candidates is maybe related to session online or some final exam or something to decide the final decision, sponsor that candidate or not. Some other idea for infrastructure you can see on the graph, and that's some ideas for the mentor guidelines and new mentor process I would like to share with you today. I would like to help you to contribute to that idea, to make that idea more completely to release in the near future, maybe. Have you got some more ideas and questions? Okay.
I was looking at the idea of having these mentors to be both with having negative votes. I don't know if that is kind of realistic. I don't feel like voting against someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can say 0, but I don't see sending a -1 in a friendly environment as the project is.
Well, you always may have a normal reason for that. You don't say you are a dickhead. You say, sorry man, you are not ready.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
a reason to say -1. And
Yeah.
you don't have to be hostile or something like that. It just happens.
This maybe happen, I think so.
Maybe I
Okay.
can. This nomination thing is something that came up in FAMSCO recently, and the points that Tuan just listed there are actually my proposal more or less. And the reason why I did this with the +1, -1, or 0 is that first of all I wanted to kind of formalize the process, and I wanted to streamline it. It should be similar to the proven packager process.
Yeah.
And in the proven packager, I mean, we have the sponsors for packagers, which are similar to the mentors for ambassadors. And what we do is we ask the existing sponsors. This is what we do the same already with the existing mentors. And I've seen that when it comes to proven packagers, it's most of the time that people say you're just not ready yet. And I think, I mean, not ready yet has to do with knowledge, with technical experience, and on the other hand, you have the ambassadors as a people group, and some people are not necessarily people persons. Okay, if they are not people persons, they probably should never become an ambassador anyway, but they definitely shouldn't become a mentor. I mean, it doesn't happen often. Like out of 20 proven packager requests, there's maybe 1 that gets a negative vote, or say 2, and the interesting thing is that if we really rejected somebody, and then it usually was a broad decision, there was a broad consensus that this person is not suitable. So I think this should be the same with the mentors. But I'm not a mentor myself, so officially not. So I cannot really make this decision.
Yeah. Since I have been to be a federal ambassador membership administrator, a lot of candidates has been rejected. Yeah, a lot. Some reason, some country or reason like India, we have more strict rule for Indian, like they must contribute to other group first and then go back to be an ambassador. It must not should be, it must be. In our region, it should be only. For example, so a lot of candidates has been rejected. You can see everyone on track, on pharma track.
Yeah, we have the same problem in Brazil because many of the new ambassadors they don't want the nickname or the email, and they don't do anything. So we have the same strict rule in Brazil for try to make them a good candidate, not only a possibility of something you don't know you can be. So we have the same strict rule because of the new guys. They want to do anything only to get the name of Fedora in that.
Yeah.
It's a trick question.
Yeah, so you can see mentor new candidate, new ambassadors is a very, very big job. Difficult because people are different from one to one. Have you got any more idea or question about the draft version of guidelines? You can see the whole on wiki and private part. Yeah.
Do you already have a list of? You said you want the to maintain a checklist, but it shouldn't be a template. How exactly would this look like? Or do you? I mean, when you act as a mentor for a new candidate, for a new ambassador,
Yeah.
how exactly would you do that?
Actually, up to now, I have no checklist. Just I mean, write up to on a wiki or something. Just in my mind or my behavior. I usually check my candidates about their knowledge in Fedora project, open source, how to organize some small activity or something like that. So I think have a full checklist is a good idea. We have a common checklist for mentors to do their job better. I have no checklist now. Okay. I think there are a lot of mentors from other regions like EMEA. They have some good experience. I would like to initiative for all mentors to contribute to be a better guidelines or something. Nowadays, mentors from regions do their job separately. No common guidelines or something. They have different strategy. Something I think I can learn from EMEA mentors or someone, but I don't know how and what they do. I don't know. Mentor in APAC and in NA and everywhere. No information show what they do, how they do, or is the past, is the future, their strategies, guidelines or something. So I think this initiative can encourage them to contribute to common guidelines.
I'm not sure if this is desired actually. We had a similar discussion at our FAT in Rheinfelden last year, and there have been several attempts to formalize the mentoring process. I mean, we already have some formalization with using track and so on, but it's still different from, say, the package review process. In the package review process, you have a checklist and you just go through it and check all the items.
Yeah.
But I think what mentors usually do is just they write, they exchange some emails with the candidate, And when they are confident this candidate is a good candidate, they approve his ambassadorship. So yeah, it's not. Some mentors are very strict.
Yeah.
Others are very
Exactly.
very loose. Say, for example, Robert Scheck. I very much like him, how he does his mentorship. He asks really interesting questions. Why did you choose Fedora and no other Linux distribution?
Yeah.
You have to really have a good justification there. If it's just if you just reply, oh, Fedora works on my laptop, and the others didn't only gave me a blank screen, this is probably not a good reason and probably not a good motivation to become an ambassador. And on the other hand, you have mentors who are very easygoing. I think it depends also on the region. If you have a lot of candidates, in Europe we have a lot of candidates, or at least we had in the past, you can be very strict. If you don't have such a huge Linux community and not a lot of candidates, you need to be more open to them. So I understand your point that you want to formalize the process and you want a minimal level of quality for all mentors, but as the ambassador's job is something that is to do with people, I'm not sure we can have a technical solution for this. It's always about the communication between the mentor and the candidate. So
The problem might be that if you look to Wikipedia right now, what a mentor really is, a mentor is someone, it's a one-to-one person, a mentor. It's not what I do with Soren. He always comes to me and asks me. That's a private thing. I do that with others too. He really guides you to things you have never done before, and that's only you can do one-to-one. What we do is just with our signing machines. That you are right. We can formalize some things. You have to have a wiki page. You have to subscribe the mailing list. That we can formalize, but to transfer the knowledge or to test if the person has the knowledge to work as an ambassador, it can be done. It cannot be done this way. There would be solution we could do, but that will be a bigger thing then. If we would really mentor candidates, it would mean that we stop calling them mentors that are really the person who make the decision, and each ambassador can be a mentor. Then you have the problem right now is mentor. You have to choose as incoming person somebody from your region you don't know. You wouldn't do that if you're in a university. You choose your doctor father, your mentor. You know him. You know I can work with him. So let the candidate come on, participate in meetings, so you know each other a little bit, and then say after 3 months you can choose amongst the ambassadors from your region your mentor, and he will be responsible that you learn the things, and then after a year or something, then make the assignment process. That would be mentoring. Everything else, what we do right now is not mentoring, it's just
a check.
Yeah. That's why I think we should build a common guidelines, something like this, but we can remove some strict rules or something. just give
That's
some.
what right now Kushal does in India. They really take a long time for each one. It's not only the enforcement that they have to be in another group.
Yeah.
I have talked with him 4 days ago about Sarup and Praveen's ambassador membership, and for Sarup he said, yeah, I will assign him. He was yesterday night assigned.
Yeah.
But for Praveen he said, okay, he has to learn some things about our project. All the other things are all right. So it's really it's a one personal thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
We can do like the guy said. We need to grant some basic rules, but we need to test them. Like you have different regions for different questions. Like in Europe, yes, you can be more restricted than you are today. But like in Brazil, we have few guys over here, and you have this problem of the guys didn't have anything interest. So we can strict some basic rules, but you can do all the same strict rules like Europe or some other countries. So we can basically has a standard, but you can in the patch and the way of you can do, you have to adapt it along the way, because we don't know how we can be in the future of the same region or some people.
You have some idea?
I'm just wanting to make sure that I'm not duplicating what's been said, but I think that it's critical that you consider the fact that because this is such a person-to-person component, as has been brought out, and because this is a very regional activity, in the same way that you wouldn't conduct your activities as an ambassador the same in every single region, because culturally people approach information differently. People also approach a situation like this very differently. In some cultures, if there's not a strong set of rules and a process and a guideline, people don't understand how to volunteer. People don't understand how they're being put through a system. In other cultures, as has been pointed out in EMEA and in the United States where I'm from, there's more of a cultural concept of volunteering that requires a completely different structure. So I like a lot of what you put together here as a concept, but I think less focus on the mentoring process has been said and more focus on what should every ambassador be able to do? What does an ambassador who is a quality ambassador for Fedora look like to us? You know, they are someone who can talk about Fedora Next and all 3 products or whatever those components are. And then you provide those resources to the mentors. But I would really strongly push that this part of the process becomes very regionalized. So that if in your region you all have a process that starts with some very strict coursework, because that's what works culturally, great. And if in India we want this year-long process that starts with a socialization, etc., great. And if in EMEA it's a completely different process, great. As long as the product that comes out the other side is identical.
Yeah, I see.
And so less focus on how you do the mentoring and more on what's the end process.
Yeah. I think the best is the ideal world. If mentors in reasons or other reasons can talk each other to have common guidelines, something maybe totally different. This I just want to have an initiative to get mentors together. I want to be here to meet more mentors here, but maybe no more mentors in this room today. I would like to get contact with them on mailing list or IRC, but almost no one responds.
Well, you seem to be kind of asking a different question, I feel like, than maybe you started out answering. And what you seem to be saying is, I want a special interest group of people who mentor. They don't even I would challenge you by saying, I don't even know that they need to be ambassador mentors. They could be mentors in any project, because the act of mentoring is what you want to really talk about. You're trying to say, how do I become a better mentor? So, is there some level of cross-project work there that it's like, we're talking about mentoring in general?
You're talking about that problem what I told. The word mentor is here the wrong one.
So we have, generally we have a sponsor model where you get sponsored into these groups, and it's just for historical reasons that for packagers or for other groups, these people are called sponsors. That also aligns with FAST, with the technical terms there, while in the ambassadors we wanted a closer one-to-one relationship, and the term that was used there has always been mentor. But whenever we use this term, we refer to the ambassador sponsoring process. So and there's no. It's not that I don't like your idea of having something across the. What you want is like a unique mentor. Not necessarily for ambassadors, but for getting into the community. But I think this is really hard to achieve.
And maybe to clarify, I'm not looking at much as how do you get into the community as if I'm a mentor or a sponsor, what are the best practices that people in my region or within Fedora have found work in helping the people that I'm working with, the people that I'm either sponsoring or in this vocabulary mentoring. So it's not as much for the mentee or the sponsored person as it is for the mentor or the sponsor. Because there seems to be a lot of discussion about what's the process of actually imparting the information.
I'm not quite sure if I understand.
Fair, I may not have formed it well, so.
But previously I had the impression that you were not just thinking about mentors in terms of ambassadors, mentors, but in terms of the person leading somebody on the first step into becoming a contributor.
Correct.
And this could be across groups, not only for you have one person that you go to no matter what problem you have. And while I think this is a good idea, I'm afraid it will be very hard to achieve.
And I agree that idea would be very hard.
Because we have so many different groups, and we would need to find somebody who is qualified to be a mentor for group X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And then
No, that's not what I'm trying to suggest, because
okay.
I think that would frankly be almost impossible for us to
Yes.
pull off. What I'm kind of saying is like, if I'm a mentor in documentation, there's information that we want to impart, there's process, there's ideas that hopefully someone who has an interest in that, when they come out the other side of that process, they're producing documentation in a way that's useful as a contribution to the community.
Yes.
If I'm a mentor in ambassadors, when somebody comes out the other side of that process, they're a useful ambassador in the community. It's the act of imparting that knowledge. How do you ask the right kinds of questions? What kind of contact mechanisms have been tending to work? I mean, mentor training is something that really happens in the universe. Is that something we need within our community?
Well, the thing that's different, you say it's about information or about knowledge. That is true for all the technical groups. For these technical groups, you can easily define whether or not somebody has this knowledge. Like a package review, once he did the proper packaging, we can be confident he understood the guidelines. But for the ambassadors, it's more about soft skills and a general idea of Fedora. I get your point, and this is also what Tuan is trying to formalize a little more. Like, this is the minimum information or minimum knowledge every ambassador should have. But I'm not a mentor, but I know that the existing mentors in the past have been opposed to attempts to formalizing the process more, because they said they basically say I trust my gut feeling.
And I guess I'm not proposing that the process be formalized. I guess what I'm hearing in the request for formalization is I want to make sure I'm doing this right, so what has worked for others? How did you arrive at that gut feeling? You know, how did you talk to people? How did you interact with them? Did you meet with them monthly? Did you meet with them weekly? I'm not asking for a guideline that says thou shalt meet with thy mentee every 47 hours, but it's more of this is how I've communicated with people, this is how I've been successful with other people in the past. There have been several examples brought up in this room of people who said, oh, so-and-so was a great mentor.
Okay,
What made
yeah,
them a great mentor?
okay, I now get it. I think as a starting point, we should pull out a discussion within the mentors. Like we ask every mentor, what does your mentoring process look like? What did you consider useful? What did not work out for you? And once we have sufficient feedback, we can start from there.
Right,
That's actually
it
very
is
good.
going to have to be something that has to be individualized to the person doing the mentoring or the sponsoring.
I mean, even you can still have different criteria based on the region or based on the number of candidates you have there. But you're building up a common corpus of good and bad things is probably a good start. Will you keep this in mind?
Yeah,
Tuan?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think in this case we still need to discuss in mentors group. I just hope mentors will respond those kinds of initiative will keep on the mentor list. Yeah, we should have some minimum, just minimum guidelines or something, not strict rules. This might be different from the reason, but it should be available somewhere for mentors, especially new mentors can refer when they do their job. That's all. Okay. Any other ideas or questions? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for